Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs. Welcome to another Bird of the Month video. This one is for September 2025, and we are going to be creating a red-tailed hawk for the Bird of the Month for September. And this Bird of the Month red-tailed hawk I drew last year for the Birdtober on Instagram, and I decided to create him into a fabric bird for the Bird of the Month this year. I have created a Bird of the Month birthday card, and it's going to be posted on my Etsy shop today. It's got this red-tailed hawk image, and inside there is information about the Bird of the Month and people born in September, and it's a downloadable printable card that will be available in my Etsy shop today for anyone who would like to download and print this for someone they know who has a birthday in September and perhaps is a bird lover. Also, I will have the pattern for this particular fabric bird on my Ko-fi shop. I will be posting the pattern today if you would like to recreate a fabric bird, or you could even get the pattern and create a collage bird out of paper. That would work too. But this one I'm getting ready to cut up into separate pieces, and then I have a bunch of fabric here of different colors that I'm hoping to use to recreate the bird in fabric. So let's get started. I'm going to get a sheet of paper. I'm going to start cutting out the pieces to make my pattern. All right, I've got some paper here to lay my pieces on. And I'm going to start cutting him out. The fabric bird will be placed on this 6 by 6 inch fabric block, which is lined with some batting that I'm going to be making into a wall hanging for all the birds of the month this year. I have stitched a border around it just so I know where to place my bird. So I'm going to set that aside and just start cutting him out. I think I'll just cut the big pieces out first, and then I will cut the smaller pieces. So it looks to me right now like there might be quite a few pieces to create this bird, so he should be very interesting. I know when I created him in collage, when I drew him and I collaged him with magazine images, he was a lot of fun to create, because this was one magazine image and then this little black piece. So I'm going to just cut that off there. That will be the tip of his wing. So I'm going to let's put it right here. And then I'm just going to continue cutting him out and lay out all the pieces. And then I will be back to start picking out my fabric. Okay, so I created my pattern. I cut all the pieces of the original bird, and I created a pattern, and this is the pattern you will receive if you go to my Ko-fi shop. I will have the description link. I will have the link in the description box of this video, and you can download this and print this pattern. And today I'm going to create a fabric bird using this pattern. So I made a copy. This is my original pattern. I made a copy, so I'm going to be cutting out these pieces in fabric now to create the fabric bird. So this, it looks like a lot of little pieces, but don't be intimidated. It really looks like a big project, but it really won't be. Especially if you like to do collage. So what I do is I cut the pieces out first, and then I pick the kind of fabric I think will work. And as you can see, I cut this stump out with the feet on it, so you will know where to place your feet. Okay, so we're just going to cut all these pieces out, and then I'll be back to place them on the fabric. Okay, I've got a couple pieces here. These are the gray pieces, kind of. And I thought this pattern would be good for the feet. And then this pattern isn't quite the same as a stump, but I thought it would make a great stump. So I think I'm just going to use this part of it. It's kind of grayish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little glue on the back of the piece just to hold it down enough to where I can cut it out. And then I will lay it on my block and stitch it down. Some of you might want to use the iron-on stabilizer. I think it's called Steam-A-Seam. I don't use that because I like to slow stitch on my pieces, and that doesn't work well for me to get my needle through. I know it says it does, but it just doesn't work for me, so I don't use that. I just glue my pieces down and cut them out and then stitch them down. But if you don't want to hand stitch, if you want to machine stitch, or even just glue your pieces down, however you're planning to use your pieces, if they're just going to be a wall hanging, you might just want to glue them down. So this is what I'm going to do with these little feet. Just glue them down here. And then cut them out carefully. And I think it'll work. So let's see how this goes. Well, I guess I better get my fabric scissors here. These are the ones I use for paper. And then I have this pair that I use for fabric. I do cut a little bit wider than pattern, just because I want to be sure that maybe some of the pieces might need to overlap a little bit. Okay. So far so good. Got one piece done. Let's see how this looks. I think that will make a nice stump. And then let's try to cut out these little tiny feet. And just want to get the basic outline of them, because you can always go over them with a paint pen or a black marker. Which I will probably do. And if you don't want to make the feet out of fabric, you could use just embroidery floss and just stitch them on with thread. Or you could just maybe cut them on a black felt. I was just trying to use this gray striped fabric to see what it looks like. But, you know, you can always have a plan B if it doesn't look right. I might just cut this one out of a different piece. It's kind of light. Doesn't really have any black stripes in it. Where is that other little piece? Now, what did I do with that? I think I will cut wherever that piece went. Oh, I set it aside somewhere. I gotta find it. Don't know where I put it. Oh well, I'll just draw the piece. I'll just fill these little stripes in with black marker. But you'll see it all come together once I get all the other pieces cut out. So now I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to cut these pieces out, and then I'll be back to show you all the pieces and how I plan to stitch them. Okay, well, kind of looks like a mess right now, doesn't it? But I've got all the pieces cut out, and I'm starting to glue it down. I've glued down the stump and the little feet. I will be taking my Posca pen, paint pen, and going around these feet. Or I will be stitching around them, just to define them. But right now I'm just gluing down each piece, and then I'll come back in with the stitching. So this is the next part I'm going to glue down, which is the breast. And that just kind of covers over those feet a little bit. Like that. So I'll put a little glue there to hold that in place. Oops. And I'm just using my Oohoo glue stick, because I'm not trying to permanently glue all these pieces down, because I am going to stitch them. But if you did want to permanently glue them down, you could use Fabri-Tac. Okay, I think that'll be good. Just want to make sure I have enough room for the head, so I don't want to get too close to that border. I think the head will go right there. So next I'm going to glue this piece down. Which is the wing. Large wing. Like that. And then a little bit for the tail. Right a little bit for the wing. Oop, where did that go? Oh, it's stuck to my thumb. Okay. Put that down. And then the red tail. Kind of like that. Whoops. Sticking to my fingers. Just gonna lift this up a little bit. There. I'm just going by the image here. Trying to place all the little pieces just like it looks there. I know the feet are kind of invisible right now, but they won't be once I get some stitching or marker on them. And then this is the little wing, which kind of comes down just before that foot starts. Like that. And then this little piece goes with the head. So I guess I will put the head on next. Just want to make sure I get it adjusted right here. Let me see. Beak. And then this piece. Well, this piece doesn't fit right. Kind of. I think I might just make this piece the same as this, so it kind of blends in better. So I use this. Yep, if I use the wrong side. No, I'm just going to cut this piece out of this material, and then I'm going to glue the rest down, and I'll be back. Okay, I got that little piece cut out and I glued it in. So I guess if I did this again, I'll just make this piece and this piece the same. Or just lengthen this. Just lengthen this maybe. When you cut it out as one piece. And then just cut it all out of the same material. Or you can do it however you want. But I think it just looks better. It's all the same. Even though in this it looked good. But with the material, sometimes it changes how it looks. Okay, so I cut a little piece of white for his eye. And I'm gonna either put a piece of black in here, or I'm just gonna marker it. See what it looks like. Yeah, looks pretty good. It's a little bit bigger than the image. Could cut it down a little bit. And I'll just glue that on there. Okay. This doesn't really come together like I want. I'm just going to kind of scrunch it in there. But I think that'll work. once I get the stitching in there. But, excuse me, I think it's gonna look good. Looks pretty close to the drawing. Just this part of his head. I could kind of trim it down a little bit there. I think I will. And I'll be back to start my stitching. Okay, what I decided was I'm just going to use just regular sewing thread to stitch just around the outside and see how that works. I've got some, it's kind of a blackish brown color here. I think I'm going to start stitching here by the stump and his feet and see how this works. So I'm going to just do a few stitches here by his feet. I did outline them with some black marker, and I'm just going to do some straight stitches to secure them down. Just a few back stitches. I guess this is more of a brown color than a black, but that's okay. It just will help to hold them down, even though they're glued, and it will help to accent them. So just going around the edges. Oops. Trying to get the point of that toe in there. There. Hope I'm in camera. And just do a couple stitches here. And I'll have to get some gray thread for the breast. So there you have it. Just stitched around that. And I'll come back up here and stitch here for this little foot. But like I said, if you don't want to use material, you could use some felt. Got a little off kilter there. And if you don't want to stitch, you could just glue. If you're not planning to wash it, if it's going to be like a wall hanging, you could use Fabri-Tac glue to hold the pieces together, and it would look very nice. But I enjoy slow stitch, so I always like to do a little bit of slow stitch on it. And it's easy to slow stitch because there's just a few little pieces on this batting backed piece of cotton. Okay. And now I'm just going to go around the stump. Probably just with some more straight stitches. See how that looks. Just around the edge. And I'm getting close to the end of my thread, so I'm going to have to rethread my needle. Oops. I think this will be the last stitch with this thread, but I'm just going to continue around. I'll probably stitch some more in the stump, and then I'll be back. Okay, I got the stump all sewn, and I think it looks really good. I just stitched each line there and kind of defined it, and I think it looks good. Got the feet all done. Now I'm going to start stitching on the head, and I am just using one strand of sewing thread, and I'm just doing running stitches. So I'm just coming up close to the edge. Oops, my knot went right through. And just doing running stitches, just small ones. Just to tack it down. And I'm just going to go all the way around his head. I will do several stitches in his head, just to kind of tack it down, but also make it look like feathers. Because I think that makes it look a lot better when there is a lot of stitching. And I enjoy doing it. So I did want to tell you a little bit about, oops, my thread caught on something. I did want to tell you a little bit about the red-tailed hawk. I chose him just because I like the looks of him. But there are many hawks, and the bird of the month is a hawk. It's not just a red-tailed hawk. It's any kind of hawk. Oops, I'm getting my thread tangled up here on everything. So the card is, the birthday card has got a little bit of information on a hawk. It says there's many subspecies of hawks, and folks can choose the one they identify with most. People born in September march to the beat of their own drum. You'll rarely see them following trends or doing something because it's cool. September people treat everyone equally, and people appreciate that dependability. Excuse me. So that's kind of a little bit about people born in September. If you know anyone that has a September birthday and you want to get that card for them, it's available on my Etsy. And anybody that likes birds, I'm sure would appreciate it. Now I'm going to have to rethread my, I don't know why I'm getting so caught up and tangled. Guess I made my thread too long. But I'm happy with how this bird came together. It really, when you start out and you have all those little pieces, you're kind of questioning yourself, saying, can I do this? It's kind of intimidating, and wondering, is this going to really even look any good? I know that happens to me every month. I've done, well, this is my 9th bird now. Been doing one every month, and every month I'm kind of amazed how it turns out. Because when I start out, it's like, not sure if this is going to work out or not. So I would say to you, give it a try. I mean, what have you got to lose? A little time, a little material. It's worth the try to take the challenge, I think, and see what you can create. And besides, I think it's fun. It's fun to take a few scraps of material and see if you can come up with something beautiful. And I think these birds are beautiful. But that's me, because I love birds. And my needle just came unthreaded again, so I'm going to thread my needle and continue stitching, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've got everything stitched down except his red tail, which I'm getting ready to do with a little bit of red thread. I did a lot of stitching. I just kind of went up and down with straight stitches to stitch it on, but also to kind of make it look like feathers. Did a lot of stitching on his head, and I stitched with gray on the stripes and on the feet, so he's well stitched down, and I think he looks really good. He looks very much like the drawing, I think, just a little bit different because of the material I had. But I'm going to finish stitching his tail, and then I will be done. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope I inspired you to maybe try it, either with my pattern or a pattern of your own. This will be on my Ko-fi shop, and I also have the birthday card. So hope you enjoyed watching today. I hope I inspired you, and I hope to see you again next month for October's Bird of the Month. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.